Hello, everybody, and welcome to Awesome Comics, your one-stop shop for everything comic book entertainment. I am your host, Walter Bernasiak, and today we are covering Season 1 of DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and our panel, as usual, we can see these two here. Let's go with this guy first. What's your name, pal?
Brian Porter.
Brian Porter?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
With a Y.
Okay.
P-Y-R-T.
Brian with a Y.
Brian with a Y.
Brian with a Y.
B-Y-R-A-N.
Sure. Byron.
Byron.
I got that a lot growing up, actually.
I can tell.
Better than brain, which is the other Brian gets,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Right with the I. How about you?
I'm Ayana, and I have an I and a Y.
Oh.
And a bunch of A's.
I would ask how to spell that, but we don't have time. All right, so I'm your host, Walter Bernasiak, and like I said, we're talking about DC's Legends of Tomorrow. As always, I want to thank you guys for commenting about what you want to see us cover on the show. Always do that. Keep doing that, and we will look over all that stuff and cover as much of what you want to see us cover as possible, so keep commenting. Okay, everybody, we're going to get right into this. So overall opinions of DC's Legends of Tomorrow, we're going to start with Porter. What did you think of the show?
As a series in general, I liked it. I thought it was good. It was fresh. I liked the dynamic of the characters. You have a very wide range of characters with personalities and powers and traits and whatnot. And I thought it was great. I really liked this show. It's not like an amazing show or anything. It's still got a lot of room to improve. But overall, I enjoyed it. There was rarely any times where I was like legitimately bored or like, why would you do that? There was a couple of times I was like, that was kind of stupid.
Right.
But overall, I liked the show. I thought it was a good show, and I'm excited. I'm excited for more. So.
Okay. My opinions of it, like, it's okay. I don't see, there's no like major issues I have with the show, but it just didn't come too high above mediocrity for me. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not very good. It's really clunky, I think, is a good word to describe everything. The storytelling, some of the character relationships, and just the first season overall, I think was very trying to find its footing, and it never really found it. I think maybe season 2 they will, and I'm excited to see more of that stuff. And yeah, it's enjoyable for the most part. We were talking about comparing it to Supergirl, and I think DC's Legend of Tomorrow is overall a little bit better than the first season of Supergirl, but I think Supergirl hit higher highs and sunk to lower lows. So, take that how you will. But it still enticed me enough where I want to see more of it. I just think that there's easy stuff they could have fixed that they didn't fix. And, as the season went along, I thought they would adjust, and they didn't. But season 2 looks promising, so I'm excited for that. Overall opinions.
Well, let's start with like the first 5 minutes of episode 1, which I started watching the show when it first aired. And 5 minutes in, we've got Arthur Darvill as a time master. Mm-hmm. You can't trick me. He's a time lord. It's Rory as a time lord. He's a doctor. Mm-hmm. I'm already in. I'm hooked. It's basically superhero Doctor Who. So no matter what happens, guess what? I'm going to keep watching this show because I really want that to happen. And then also the computer on the ship is Gideon.
Right.
Which, little trivia for you, my cat's name is Gideon. So already right away I'm like, all right, you guys are hitting everything.
All these intimate details about Ayana's personal
How did you know
great.
that I needed this show? Just make it happen. Overall, though, like I like the show, but I would agree that there's plenty of room to grow. I liked being able to see these other characters that are introduced in other shows all together. So I'm gonna definitely keep watching.
Okay. My thing of that is, it's freshman season, so you got a lot of stuff to work with anyway. You have a large cast with a lot of different personalities, and you need all of them to have screen time, so that's going to be difficult to juggle as well. And the whole show is based in time travel, which is a bitch to deal with, to keep your continuity.
Absolutely.
Which you don't like. I love time travel shows.
I am so
get
into time travel.
Okay, well, let's talk about positives first. We'll get into that and into negatives on my end. But what were some of your favorite stuff from season 1?
I liked the Jonah Hex episode, and
That's a good
maybe you'll
episode.
agree with me on this episode, but we got Western space. Wait a minute, are we doing a Firefly episode? Again, some more stuff. You're hitting all my keywords. I liked that episode a lot. I thought that was really cool.
Right.
I think costuming of the show is really awesome.
I love the design of the ship and everything.
They do some really good design stuff, yeah.
I agree on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have any specific favorite shows. I just have like favorite characters and favorite moments. Like Mick and Leonard Snart, anytime they're on screen together, it's awesome.
Right.
I love it. I know you guys think that like Leonard Snart could be a little over the top at times.
Are you sure about that, Porter? I don't know. Are you sure that maybe he's just a little over the top?
Well, my problem with that too is I started watching Legends of Tomorrow before I started watching The Flash because I was behind in my queue. Sorry.
That's
Sydney.
unfortunate.
I know. So I was introduced to him at his like top of the character where he's like
Right.
super over the top and doing all his stuff already. Now that I've seen Flash, it makes so much more sense, and I think I needed to work my way into that character, and I
Right.
didn't get that in Legends. So if anyone was watching that without watching The Flash, go watch The Flash, because
You should watch Flash anyway.
Yeah, obviously. On
Dump
principle.
this thing and watch Flash.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay.
If we're talking about if we're gonna watch a show, one of the CW shows, which one would you watch?
Well, yeah, you watch the
The
Flash.
Flash.
But do both, obviously, because
If you got time, not a lot of people got that much time. I'm
okay.
saying,
Ain't nobody
if
got
you want
time
to
for
cut the
that.
fat, just
You're
watch. Don't
pain
even
in
watch
the
Arrow
ass.
either, because it's not that good either. But
Oh,
anyway,
get it. You don't even watch Arrow. Get out of
I
here.
don't. I
Don't
tried.
listen to this guy,
I
people.
tried. Arrow's okay.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Because
but
you
another
watched
day.
season 1.
No,
I
we
watched the
watched
first
8
8 episodes of
episodes of
season
season
1,
one.
and I
Well,
said, "This is Batman
Yeah,
Begins,"
that's your problem.
and it's not good. But anyway,
Once you get past season, no, we're
we'll
not
get
gonna
into it.
that.
I'm sure people are going crazy now about how I don't like Arrow. But anyway, I like Stephen Mel though. But okay, anyway, positives for me. I mean, yeah, I also agree. The Mick and Snart stuff's probably the strongest character relationship on the show. And I wasn't always like a huge fan of Snart and everything, but he does grow on you like the more you see him and stuff. And he ended up being one of the best characters on the show, I think, for sure. Yeah, Rip Hunter I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
liked him as a
everything with
character.
Rip, he was, I mean, even if they gave him crap sometimes, like even lines and some of his character arc was kind of weird, but yeah, I thought Arthur Darvill pulled it off, like without a doubt, absolutely.
He's great. I'll probably watch whatever he's in ever.
Ever.
Ever. He's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Favorite episodes for me, Star City 2046.
Oh, you know what? That was a really good
That's a
episode.
great episode.
I loved Future One Arm Molly, straight out of Dark Knight Returns.
Absolutely. That was
That
really cool.
was awesome to see.
It was almost, I thought that makeup could have been done a little bit better, but he looked pretty good for
Yeah,
a
he
TV
looked-
budget.
yeah.
So. Left Behind, the episode where they're Kendra and Ray get stuck in the 50s.
Haircut.
I thought, haircut. Might be my favorite episode. I think because that was finally when I was like, all right, they finally did it. They nailed like the really good character
Character
stuff here.
stuff, yeah.
But then it kind of got muddled up in the episodes that came later. But I think that's just because there's so many characters, it's hard to juggle everybody. So.
Yeah.
That was one of the better costuming episodes too that I like.
Yeah,
I like
with
when
the
they
50s
get to
style.
bounce around in time too because then I get to see all the eras of clothes, which
Yeah.
I love. But that episode especially.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the Magnificent Eight episode in the Old West and everything. Rip's attachment to the Old West too, and like how he got caught there, like time displacement or whatever. That was really cool. I think how his look kind of got influenced by Jonah Hex. That was his jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
a nice touch.
We get to
Yeah.
see an older Kendra too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Which
was she got to talk to herself kind of, and
Yeah.
even though this is like her past self, it's still like her future self.
Yeah,
Right,
kinda,
it's a different self.
Yeah.
So it's a parallel self.
Right. So it's weird to
I
have
really
that
did
character
the episode.
dynamic.
One of the episodes I'm thinking about it now. I really did like was the episode where they had to go save their younger selves and all that stuff from being
Yes.
erased from time. Like I really like that because I like seeing Mick interact with his kid, with his like younger self.
Yeah, that was
with
cool.
that whole story arc with like setting stuff on fire and how he felt about
Yeah.
that with the kid. That was awesome. Leonard Snart with the baby and just how he was dealing with that was just comedy
Right.
gold. Like, and everybody else young Sarah, seeing where she started and where she is, like that was awesome. Like
Yeah,
everybody
young Sarah
together.
is kind of annoying, and you get to kind of see her have to deal with her
Right, but that's how
annoyance.
she was at the beginning of it
Right,
and stuff. so.
right, exactly.
Right.
So
But,
I like kind of having to see them both like deal with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
pretty cool.
Firestorm's dad. What's
I don't remember Jackson's dad's name, but
yeah,
I
but
know what you mean.
Jax's dad. And that
was a
whole,
nice little
whole thing
moment.
was really good. I like
Yeah,
that.
it was
you know.
cool. Okay, we gotta quickly move along. I'm sorry, guys. Negatives. Do you guys have anything negative to say before I take this over?
Go ahead.
Just the time travel thing. It's just really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get into that later, but
I'm gonna
negatives.
do it now.
Let's do it now. The time
And
travel
here we
thing
go.
is really hard to do because, well, it's not real. But there's a lot of science behind it, but there's not science, and so
Like
it's hard
superheroes.
to. Yeah, it's hard to
Shocking,
keep
though.
it together, keep the continuity together when you got all this stuff going on. And it's like I think they did as good of a job as I think they could have. There could have been other stuff better that they could have taken from Back to the Future or some various other stuff that they could have fixed
Made
a
it
little
simpler, maybe.
Yeah, simpler with the timelines and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But for the most part, I think they got it down as good as possible.
Sure. Okay, my opinion on this is just I appreciate them trying something different. They're trying to branch out the CW universe, the Flareverse, whatever. They're trying to make different things, and I like that they tried a new show. It's cool that they bring in Rip Hunter. Whoever thought we'd see a live-action Rip Hunter in the first place? I mean, that's really cool. The problem I have with it, though, is like the time travel stuff is very nuanced and rare and stuff in the Flash series. I mean, it's kind of a big deal when somebody time travels in the Flash. And they made kind of just undercut that a little bit, I think, with the show, because now you're making an entire show just about time travel. I like time travel. It's a great storytelling device. It's hard to really go wrong with it. But with this, I just thought it kind of cheapened what they built with the Flash and everything, because like I said before, when you travel through time in the Flash, it's a big deal, and now they're just going willy-nilly everywhere, and they can just go anywhere.
There's a whole sect of people that are time masters. That's like what they do, though. It's
No,
not
I agree.
them
In the DC
discovering
universe, I
time
totally
and
get
then
it.
hopping around.
And they had the
well-
timeline to help guide them. Barry flies blind whenever he
Right.
does it, and so he doesn't have anybody there to guide him like Rip does for everybody else to try and keep the timeline intact. So whenever Barry does something, i.e. Flashpoint, there's a big deal with that. But when they do it, it's more controlled. So I think
But
that's an easier way
that's
to get
another
out of it.
problem I had with it was with the Oculus thing. So everyone's controlled. Everybody has their movements. Everything is just controlled by the Oculus. Like, no, sorry, that's really, really lazy.
It wasn't controlled,
storytelling.
it was influenced, I think.
No,
more.
they said it. They directly said everything that they've ever done was controlled by the Oculus,
Yeah, but
which means
they were guided to
retroactively-
these things. So yeah, they were controlled, but it was
100%. They said it. They said in the show that they're controlled by the Oculus. They manipulate time and stuff. So anything that they did, any decision they made was controlled by that. That's what they said
But it
several
wasn't
times.
free will. It was
It was. So they mean
predetermined.
anything that's ever happened in Flash or Arrow controlled by the Oculus. Screw off. Sorry, I think that's really stupid. But they kind of reprimanded that when they destroyed it, which I was like, yes, finally.
Well,
Great.
what was your thought on Kronos?
Kronos, I loved Mick coming back.
Yeah,
Mick's
that
whole
was
story arc
awesome.
had the big,
I thought that was a
strongest arc in
great
the whole
story
show.
arc. I
Yeah,
would agree with
agree.
that. I didn't particularly like how they kind of just dropped it. Like they went.
Well, they went back to it at the end.
Well, no, because they captured him, and then he's like, "Well, I guess I'm a good guy now." Like, I kind of felt like that like they didn't really conclude it very well. Like
They brought him back around, and then they tried
But did
brainwashing
they?
him again. They did. They when they went back to the vanishing point, they tried to brainwash him again, but he didn't.
Yeah, like
set.
what'd you hold on to this time? It's like
Right,
the team. And
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
That shows the
that's
arc
like,
of his character.
Yeah,
I
that's like
think.
the
I think
final
I think it's fine.
finalization of like him actually accepting the team. He's like, you know what? To not be Kronos that I don't want to be desperately, I'd rather
Right.
be dead. I
I don't know. I really liked
something.
Kronos as a character, and I thought it was really cool that it was him. And then I felt like they kind of just dropped
Alright,
it
I
so that they
gotcha.
could move on.
Really quickly before we go into the next subject here, how Rip kind of just knows stuff, and then, but his actions beforehand don't match up with him knowing something. Like it just, always, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Well, I knew this was going to happen, but then why didn't you act a certain way? It didn't match up, I think, with character motivations and things like that. The shoehorn romance, I think, of Ray and Kendra, I think I really got into it as it went along, but how it started was really like out of nowhere. I mean, Carter like just died, and then Jax is like, I really, really like Kendra, man. Hey, man, I love Kendra. And then freaking Ray just steps in, and then they have a relationship that just sort of, like I said, comes out of nowhere. That's why I really like the episode where they're stuck in the 50s, because it builds up their whole relationship and everything. When they come out of it, it's believable, and I was rooting for them from then on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought shoehorning that in was kind of lame.
I like the episode of the 50s too, like specifically because they bring up the fact that time travel is sort of like a luxury for white guys. Like, because everyone else in the show is like, maybe it's not so great for me to
well,
time
yeah,
travel,
yeah.
which is
Like,
something
what a
I've
great
always thought.
Yeah,
and I've
yeah.
always been like, yeah, you
You're right.
can time travel because any point in time, anywhere, you're good. But if you don't, then you might not be so great. You have to be
Right.
selective of where you go.
Yeah, I
at
thought that was
what
really
point
good.
in
Like,
time.
oh, what a great time to be alive or whatever. Like, unless you're gay or black. And it's
Right,
just like,
or a woman.
shit. Oh yeah, they're so right.
yeah.
This is bad.
It's true.
I liked that little nod where I was like,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah,
I've
that
been
was
thinking
good.
this forever.
The last little nitpick I had was the thing with Sarah and Snart. Just like, why are they making out now? Like,
They didn't make out. She gave him a "you're about to die, screw it, I'm gonna kiss you" kiss.
They were kind of like, they built that up in like 2 episodes. I thought something was gonna happen with Rip and Sarah. I thought there was something happening there, here and there.
I never
and then
got
there was
that.
Nurse and
I
Sarah
did.
all the way. That's
and
what's
Sarah
up.
all the way.
Nurse and Sarah.
Nurse and Sarah all
Right.
the way, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, I just thought that was another thing that kind of stuck out. But okay, really quickly, besides the Mick and Snart stuff, there's any other characters you guys really liked? Like any arcs or performances that stood
I
out
like
to you?
Vandal Savage.
You like Savage?
I like Savage. I thought he was
okay.
great. I mean, of
Alright.
all the stuff that I've seen Savage in comics and animated stuff, like this was an awesome on-screen representation of Savage. You know, I think that they had to change his origin some, but
yeah,
I
but
think
that's
with doing
forgivable.
that,
Right.
he just was awesome. He was a badass character. I think he had a lot to him. I liked him a lot.
Anything else from?
No, I pretty
characters or
much
performances?
talked about the characters that I
Right.
liked already. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did really like. I liked all of the characters. Okay, I liked all of the characters. Every character had a good point for me, but some of them were better than the others. One thing that I really did like that's not a character on that last episode, I loved the Thanagarian tie-ins.
Yeah, that was very cool.
That was awesome because I was like, oh come on, I wanted to see actual Thanagarians. You
Right.
know, I mean. I wanted him to be that way instead of like Prince Khufu and all that, but it's like they
Well,
tied
they
it
tied
in.
it in, that's
they
how they got
tied
their
it in with
powers,
the
so,
with the,
yeah.
how they got their powers and the
was cool.
Thanagarians were coming. I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. That's awesome.
Hey everyone, Beth Elderkin with Awesome Comics, and I'm in a little neighborhood called Andersonville to check out one of the best kept secret comic book shops in all of Chicago. So secret, in fact, you might not even know it exists, but it does, and it's right here. Let's go in. Oh my god, it's so secret, like I have to walk all the way back here to figure it out. It's like Diagon Alley, it's so mysterious. Do you think Hagrid's gonna show up and tell me I might be a witch or a wizard? It's open. All right, so I am here with Celine Idell, co-owner of Alley Cat Comics. So Celine, how long have you guys been here in Andersonville?
We've been here for 5 years.
What made you guys first decide to open up a comic book shop? Because it's you and your husband, right?
It is. We had too many comics, and I told him he needed to either open up a shop or get rid of them, and so he opened up a shop.
So tell me a little bit about your influence on the selection in the comic book shop. Because obviously comic book shops are going to reflect what the owner's preferences are and personality. So what kind of print have you put on Alley Cat?
I think that my particular preferences are indie books. I tend to read more indie books, and I keep up on them, so I'm kind of able to tell Nick when he does the ordering, you should get this book. This looks really cool. This writer was really great on this book. You should check out this one. So that's kind of where I come into play with all that stuff.
What do you love about comics?
I love that they are amazing stories that you can read. If you're enjoying television right now, you have to come read comic books because I feel like that, it's clear that they're using comic books for movies, for scripts and stuff like that. And if the movies are great, just imagine how it was originally.
What's one comic book here that has not been made into a movie that you think absolutely must?
Probably Saga would be amazing if that were a movie. I don't know if they could do it justice though, but if they did,
I'm thinking like an HBO Game of Thrones style thing in order to really get it across. If they put the money behind it, oh my god. Saga, yes. All right, Celine, so as you know, Legends of Tomorrow just wrapped up its first season. And, oh boy, what are your thoughts?
well, I honestly haven't seen the last episode, but I was talking about this with Nick last night, and we were talking about how CW shows sometimes feel a little kitschy or campy, and he named off a couple, and one of them was Supernatural, and I was like, that show was great, and they go, wait, no, you know what? The first season wasn't that great, and you can actually fast forward to the very last episode of that season and know exactly what happened. So I kind of feel like that may be what's going on with this particular show. I'm going to give it another chance. I'm going to keep going because who knows, it could surprise us all.
All right, well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us on Awesome Comics.
All right, thanks a lot, Beth. Okay, everybody, so are we excited for season 2? There's a little, okay, spoilers. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. Spoilers for what's coming here. At the end of the final episode, we see Rex Tyler, aka Our Man, show up out of nowhere and mention the Justice Society of America. How excited are you guys for season 2?
Excited. I think there's plenty of room to see some other characters
Oh,
that we
yeah.
know, or other characters that maybe if you're not watching the show and just reading the comics, I think there's room for new characters. I'm holding out for Booster Gold, maybe, maybe Blue Beetle. Probably won't happen, but like there's tie-ins with Rip Hunter, and I think that'd be really cool if we could get some of that. Maybe not season 2, maybe if it keeps going, but I think there's plenty of room to go, so we'll see.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the JSA. You know, I think that's a really awesome way to go, and you know, Our Man, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
that's good. You know, we can get some obscure characters, we get some
Yeah.
bigger characters coming in. Like,
I would love to see Booster Gold.
wasn't Dr. Fate a part of the JSA at one point?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of characters that
we could totally
have
see
at
some
least
Dr. Fate.
affiliated, right.
That would be really cool. Like,
Right.
there's a lot of stuff that they could do, a lot of avenues that they can go, and I'm
Right.
excited to see what they do. So I'm on board.
I'm right with you guys there. I mean, like I said, I didn't love the first season, but I think there is room to improve, and I like the characters enough where I'm interested to see where it goes. Okay, final thoughts. Ayana.
I like it. I'm gonna see season 2. I'm in.
Same. I'm ready for more. You know, I want some more. I want some more different characters. You know, I want some obscure characters, some bigger characters. Let's go all out season 2.
I agree. I'm right there with you
Hopefully,
guys.
we get a full season. Like
It was only
actual-
16 episodes, which
Yeah.
is weird for the first season.
So hopefully we get a full
yeah,
season.
We get 22 or whatever the average is. Okay, pick of the week. We have a special one. So, Ayana, take it away.
Legends of Tomorrow. This series came out this year. This is just the first book. If you want to go check it out, I'm personally not super invested in these characters. Actually, I read it and I was kind of excited to like see what's going on. We've got Firestorm, obviously, like in the show, but other than that, it's not really a parallel to the show much. Is anyone else reading this? Do you disagree with me? Yeah, I'll read the other couple. There's 3 out right now, and there should be more. So let me know what you think of the series if you're reading it. Otherwise, go check it out. Let me know what you think. Other than that, I do definitely want to give a shout out to Jean Ha, whose first issue of May just got released this month. Go check it out through Dark Horse Comics. And for my birthday present, look, he drew me his Batgirl! You guys! It's
Dream
me.
come true.
He got like my glasses in the cowl. Isn't that amazing? So go check it out. It's beautiful. He's got some Doctor Who references. He's got some Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff in there. So this is a series I'm super excited about. It's gorgeous. So definitely go check him out. And he's a local guy to us. So go check him out.
All right, cool. Porter, where can we find on the social medias?
Facebook.com/awesomeporter.
You.
Right here. Oh my goodness, it's me. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, anywhere
All
online.
that stuff. I didn't know you had Tumblr.
All that stuff. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I've got a Tumblr.
All
Don't
right.
find it. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at awesome_Walter, and I'll be talking about all this kind of stuff all the time. So anytime there's like movie news, I like to discuss it with you guys. So make sure you go on and follow me and all these guys on Twitter and Facebook and everything. Okay, so what we got coming up next, actually later this week, we're going to come out with a bonus episode for Season 3 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
We wanted to cover that as well because that season also wrapped up this past week. So we'll be talking about that later this week, so stay tuned for that. Next week, we will be talking about Season 2 of The Flash, and we will also be talking about X-Men Apocalypse, of course, which is coming out. So guys, stay tuned for that, and until later this week, I guess, we'll see you on the next page.